Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, good night, good time of day, whatever it might be for you. Welcome back to the LAMDA log. This is Zion Austin. I don't know if I say my name enough. Coming in with week 10, day 1, last week of skills classes. Yes. This is the 23rd of March, 2026. And I'm about to sneeze. I don't think it's going to come though. Shout out Sandridge. Okay, so we had our warm up. I reviewed my material for the day and did some push ups. I don't know if I've mentioned it here, but I had a New Year's resolution to do 100 push ups a day to hopefully get to the goal of doing being able to do 100 straight. I've upped it. I'm doing like 160 right now in 4 sets of 40s. So I'm getting there. But yeah, a little fun tidbit factoid about me. So getting into it, we started off the day with a voice to text to perform our political speeches. So first of all, we had a bit of time because it's a 2-hour class. And what we needed to do was do our speeches. So we discussed how this would work, and then we performed our political speeches. It went really well. Everyone stepped up. The energy was brought. It was good. One of my main goals was to be more comfortable in my body and move around and not just like stand there and right, not just have my voice, but be able to like gesticulate and be more comfortable in that, which I was, but I don't know, it wasn't exactly what I had hoped for. I didn't quite meet that level of energy and commitment. Yeah, so I gave myself a 7 out of 10. It was fine. I could have hit the call to arms much stronger and just like used a little more of the rhetoric tactics. We had a little potty break, and then we jumped into it. And so, what George wanted to do was celebrate ourselves, review kind of what this experience, what this class was like, and discuss our political speeches and talk a little bit about next term. So, if there are too many parts, like in your speech, you really got to drive that speech, right? Take the air out. We're really good at landing thoughts. Now we need to like put the fire under it. One of the students was just really great example of drive. He left us with nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. Don't let them regroup. Hammer in your point. So much passion, intention, and purpose, right? Remember, you got to like gather this up and land it. Gather land. So take in what people are giving you. Yeah. And how do you work the offense without being offensive, which was great. I like that little tidbit. I love little idioms and sayings. How do you work the offense without being offensive? It's good. Know beyond knowing, right? You got to know your words beyond knowing. You got to know your rhetoric devices beyond knowing the structure, and that's how you can really sink in and just enjoy it. So, like, memorization is the tip of the iceberg when performing, and so that needs to be done as quickly as possible and as thoroughly as possible, so that you can get into knowing your punctuation and all these other specifics. We can and should express our thoughts. We are emotional beings. We can and should feel and express those feelings. When we are sitting, shifting our reactions on stage, I don't know what that means. I'm trying to remember. But I think it's about we kind of needed to play these like a 2-person scene, maybe. Yeah, these really important thoughts. These are really important thoughts, and expressing them help us put that sensation into the body, the sensation of expressing things we care about. That's why we chose topics we believed in, and we should be knackered at the end of these performances. For all my American folks, that means really tired. But at the end of our speeches, at the end of our performance, we should have a physical toll that it hits. Look for and identify these rhetoric devices in your texts, and you'll be surprised how frequently they're there. Then we had lunch. It was great. I ate food. And then we had mask with Heriberto. Oh, so that was I think our last class with George in the program, because I don't think we're going to be with George next term. He'll be around and he'll be supporting projects and things, but yeah, it's crazy. So we talked a bit, and we learned the basics of mask because the text becomes our mask. So we walked the space and then we paired up. I was in a trio, and then we tried to trick each other by like moving around and hopping and rolling and making noises. And then we did some massages, which was really nice because I was in a trio, so I got massaged both times, which was chill. And then we got into new partners, and I was in another trio, and we divided ourselves in two Bs and an A. And so the A was trying to make the two Bs laugh. And we weren't trying not to laugh at this point. At first we just like laughed if we thought it was funny, and didn't if we didn't. And then we switched. And I love acting like a chimp. And so I like kind of acted like a chimp. And then what really got my A partner was I started eating bugs off the other B partner because we got to work together. And that made him cackle, which was good. Always go ape. Then we both tried not to laugh. And so it was the two of us. And if you laughed, then you switch. So if anyone laughed, this person is trying to make people laugh. And so like if this person laughs, well, then they switch. If this person laughs, then they switch. And so there was always one person trying to make two people laugh. And it was fun. We discussed it. We talked about like the power of timing and sustaining certain things, just like hammering it and not letting it go. And just at a point, it just becomes funny or absurd, or also sudden surprising things. There's power in the relentless action, like that sustained or repeated thing over and over again. There's power in size too, just doing something really small or really big. And then we talked about kind of these three types of laughter. There's like the belly laughter, the core laughter, the center laughter, right? That's the big, like, that's just a genuine that bursts out of you. There's fake laughter, which has a purpose. And it's like, yeah. You say something and you like try to cover up the embarrassment or something with laughter. And so it's not genuine enjoyment, but it serves a purpose. And then the third one, which Aries thinks is stupid and pointless, is the actor's laughter. This is a purposeless, fake kind of belly laughter. You tried, but it's not really there. It's not really connected. And so laughing on stage is difficult. He also says that dying on stage is difficult too. And then we played this fun little game where we had 5 chairs set up, and everybody like lined up in the chairs. Well, we did 3 groups because there's 15 of us, so 5 people lined up, and then 5, and then the last 5. And what you do is the person on like the far right side or the left side, stage right. The first round, you just turn to your left. You make eye contact with the person. You kind of hold that eye contact. And they receive it. So then they're receiving it, keeping eye contact. You breathe together. and then you bring it to the next person, and then it goes all the way down, and then all the focus is in these 5. So you're focusing on, everybody's focusing on the one person who's on the left receiving it or on the right receiving it. So it goes all the way to the left, and then the person on the far left looks, and then it gets sent back, and then they all go from the left to the right. That's the first round. The second round, you do eye contact and a smile. And you can still breathe. Right? But just a big, big smile. Not just that kind of smile, but like a toothy smile. And then what happens is there arises this bonfire of laughter. Right? And he says, if you laugh, laugh. Don't swallow your feelings. We all laugh differently and for different reasons, different sound. Open, like sometimes people open, ha 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 ha. I think of Chris Evans. He always seems to laugh out. Some people close in and they're like, right? They laugh like that. All right, but it's super important to keep the eye contact and let the body respond however it does. So sometimes we want to like cover our faces when we're laughing. We're like, ah. And so don't do that. Keep the eye contact. So the first group, I'm just kind of, they started with the 2 rounds, and then Eddie gave them some specific things to try to do, which led to wonderful laughter. But things to remember is keep your body open, so don't like cross your arms or like close up or anything, but keep your body open. We put our hands on our knees, and we just, did it. And then there was a moment that after they're passing, it went, do a serious face. Well, my ears move a lot. Anyway. And then a happy face, an extremely happy face, an I won the lottery happy face, serious face. Villain face. With a cheeky smile on the side. A poker face. A sad face. A sad puppy face. And then with some sound. And one person was just not able to lock in. They were just laughing the whole time. They were like for the serious face. And the villain face was all... And then when she did the puppy face, it was like, wah, wah, wah. It was so funny. And what Ari wanted to do was have this bonfire of laughter explode. So then our next group went, and I was in that one. I was in the second group, so I didn't write down anything for that one. But then the last group went, and so they did the first round and the second round. Then it said, smile at specifics. What? Smile at specific people. It's like, smile at this person. Everyone smile at that person. Smile at this person. Poker face. Happy face. Best day of your life face. A Greek tragedy face. A villain face. A James Bond villain face. And then they were to say, good evening, Mr. Bond. And then a sad puppy face. A mommy's back happy puppy face. A serious funeral. Jackson's dead pet fish, Fifi. Happy face. And so it was so funny and so delightful and enjoyable. And it's not about jokes, it's about connection, the eye contact. Don't I don't know what that says. Don't guard or protect yourself from being silly. Embrace that as you're a performer. We'll carry this work to our next term, which we will have theater clowning, and find your inner idiot. That'll be fun. And then the homework is to, when we get back, which will be our second week back because the first Monday is a bank holiday, bring items of clothing that makes us feel ridiculous, embarrassed against our personal style. Some no-nos, no nudity, No reverse order, so like a shirt as trousers or pants. Don't cover your eyes. No offensive material, and bring a bunch of items. And don't share too much of what we're doing with other classes. They will get the same experience that we do. Yeah. And then we had our little 30-minute break, and then we had scene study with Brittany, our last class. And we received those extra 3 scenes that I wanted to do. I wanted to do the second All My Son scene, but I just didn't have time to memorize it. I tried to do it during the day, but it didn't work. So I did the first one. And then we ran through those performances, and we gave Brittany a blank piece of paper. She wrote down notes on that and then gave them to us afterwards. And then gave a few people the opportunity. Well, everyone got an opportunity to do something another time, but some got the opportunity to do it more than twice. Yeah. So the way it worked is one person was on deck outside, one person was performing, and then one person was reading for the performer, because it wasn't like an acted scene, it was like an audition. So you're reading you were performing to the reader. So then the person on deck outside comes in to become the performer, and then the performer comes in to be the reader. And yeah, so you might have more work, but you're only guaranteed to go through the scene once, but everyone did. And then look at the reader as your scene partner, which was good because I don't know like the technical stuff. So we performed our scenes. The first person did All My Sons, the first scene, and played Anne, and I read for her. And her direction was that she's been waiting to have this conversation forever. And then the next person did the first Hedda Gabler scene as Hedda Gabler. And her direction was, how does pleasure play a part in this? Then the next student did the Hedda Gabler scene as well, playing Hedda. And then jump into a version of this where Hedda wants to win with words, enjoyment of being first, of more competition. And then the next person did Top Girls, the first scene, and played Maureen. And then she was told to build in more permission to allow this conversation that's been going through her head forever. And it comes out, not worried about hurting her feelings, not holding back. And then she got to do it a third time. And now layer everything, and it's pretending that she doesn't care. She wants to get a response more than she feels them. And then the next person went. Wow, all the women went first. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 women in a row. Well, 6? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then this was Top Girls, the first scene of Top Girls. She was playing Joyce, and she got to do it 3 times. After her first performance, it said play with an element of waiting to have this conversation, ready, on the edge, hungry for clarity, strong sense of being right. And then afterwards, it was like to see something different. She's so beyond this conversation affecting her. She's set in her life and her ways. And then our first man, did the All My Sons scene, the first one, but as Anne. And he got to do it 3 times. But add the end feeling at the beginning so that it's harder to leave. The feeling of being excited and happy about the potential engagement, but then deciding to leave because he's not proposing. And then lead into this being your favorite person in the entire world. Bring comfort and familiarity. You know how to have this conversation. And then another man also did All My Sons, but as Chris. And then lean into quality, massive freedom and release into when the conversation takes a turn into the proposal, and look for a shift about looking for clarity about Larry. And then general thought, if something is unclear, always ask for clarity. If you don't understand something, a direction or whatever, always ask. It's better to ask than to assume or to try. You're not going to get in trouble for not understanding, or you won't be looked at poorly or anything. If something is unclear, always ask for clarity. That's what I just said. Then the next person went and they did the top girls, the first top girl scene, played Joyce. That was the most popular one, the top girl scene, I think. And she got to do it 3 times. After the first time, it said, how many times can you end this conversation? And when it continues, how does that make you shift? Like, you've said your last bit, you're like, that's the end of the conversation. That's the end. This is the end, right? And how do you shift when it doesn't end? And then for the third time, keep that and add when you're going to show the moment things affect her and don't. It could be true or it could not be, but when does the character decide to show certain things? And that one was really good. I love that one. There's a few that I was just like, oh, that does it. That's great. And then the next person went and did the first top girl scene as Joyce, and her instruction was, focus on this is your problem more than anything, and you have to fight to solve this problem. You're never backing down from this fight. This fight is like the main focus. And then she got to do it a third time and said, you're talking to a child, and that was fun too. And then another Top Girls, number 1 scene, first scene from Top Girls, but he was playing Maureen. And it said, after the first time, play with the playful sibling, the confidence, the cockiness. Don't let this person know any of this affects you. And that was a solid one. And he got to do it a third time. And add on making the other person, phased and ruffled by this. So really trying to affect them. And then I went out in the hall, so I missed this last person, but I'm pretty sure they did Top Girls because I heard it. And then I went and I did the first All My Sons scene as Chris. And my instruction was to make it totally focused on and stopping and staying with her and reading her and all of that. And then the next person went, and he was the only one who did a second scene. So proud. He did the second Hedda Gabler scene as Tessman. It was so good. I got to read for him too, which was fun. But she told him to lean into every reception of new information that he keeps on his professor face, and he tries to be like very contained with it. And he's always a little afraid of Hedda, and it was so funny. He's pretty brilliant. And then we had another Top Girls scene playing Joyce, and he was told to lean into the playful, taunting side. Maureen is your toy that you like winding up, and they got a third option. So basically, everyone who did Top Girls got three runs at it. Is that true? Is that just how it worked? Yeah. Fascinante. Yeah, and then for the third time is explore the very assured, confident side of the character. Everything they're saying is fact, and you don't need to push fact because it's true. And then the last person did a Top Girl scene as well, but as Maureen. And he was told to explore the side of them where their guilt is coming out and they're looking for validation in their choices. And then lastly, for the last round, it was layer in, there is a bit of love coming out for Joyce, right? And it's partially enjoyable to have these conversations and talk with your sister. And then we had our intro into the next class. So these are general notes for audition prep. Right? This is your time. Own it. Sandra Oh, when she auditioned for Grey's Anatomy. She had just been on a flight and it was delayed, and she was like late for her audition, and she was like pretty far in, and she just asked if she just said that she was going to lie on the floor for 5 minutes before she began her audition, her callback. And so with the auditioner, she just laid down on the floor. She's like, I'm going to waste your time and you're going to waste mine if I don't like center myself. So she laid on the ground for 5 minutes, and then she did it. That's totally appropriate. It's you got to do what you got to do your best work. And then we will have 5 auditions as a continuation of this class. Our first session will be a group, and the rest will be one-to-ones, time slot. So we just go to our time slot, and then that's it. We audition, and then we leave. We will read for each other, like we did in class today. And we'll get a new schedule every week. It'll be different. It'll be random. We'll get the material in different ways. There will be new material every week, and don't share it because there might be some stuff that is current material that isn't to be shared because they're workshopping it or they're writing it. But there is like a world in which we're doing that, which is sick. And then stage and screen, but focusing on on classical text. So we will do some screen things, we will do some stage things, but we're going to be focused on the classical text. And then you choose which character. It'll always be a two-hander, and you choose which character. And then Ollie is the tutor, and he'll be in the room with a guest. And then practice in the context that you will need to work in. So you need to be performance ready for auditions, especially for screen jobs. That's just the expectation. You want to be ready to go. And then feedback every week on Canvas. You'll receive it the day of, and it'll be like industry feedback. It'll be blunt and before your next audition. So it might just be like, it wasn't really right for the part. Or, yeah, great, believed it. Balance between treating it like school and the industry. So we're transitioning into like a school setting where it's detailed feedback and it's about us improving, and now it's like the industry where it's about the project. Know what is useful to you and what isn't. In regard to the feedback as well, it's what can you take? I mean, these are professionals, but everyone also has their opinion. So find out what helps you and works for you. The one-to-ones need to be like a real audition and be genuine of what it's like. And then some general notes for just like auditions and tapes and stuff. Always read the play for theater first. Always read it. If it's from a play, read the play. Do your research. Do what you got to do to understand the part. Monologues are very rare. The only time they're really used are for like generals. So like if you're doing a Shakespeare festival or something, have a few Shakespeares in your back pocket and get as much as you can on tape, right? Get your combat reels on tape, do monologues on tapes. You should take advantage of this time and these space and these people while you're here. That's something I'm really going to work on next term, is I'm going to film everything. They already know your training. You don't need to prove that you can. They assume you can act. Bring the character. So like in auditioning for drama school, you want to prove that you can act. They assume you can. They see LAMDA on your resume and they're like, okay, this person's legit. So how do I, so like what do they fit the character is more the question. You don't need to be off book for theater. This is contentious. Sometimes people say you do, sometimes they don't. Do what works for you. Some people can be on book and be super present, be right there. If you can't, don't. Memorize it. I'm a memorized person. I need to memorize. I feel constrained by the script. Props can hold you back, or they can be your way in. It goes either way. A lot of safe work. Bolder is better. Brittany hates the term bolder because to be bolder is just to act. It's make choices. That's not bold. It's just doing your job. Don't be afraid of answering a question in detail more than, that was fun or good. If they ask you, how was that for you? You don't have to be like, that was good, I enjoyed it. You can answer in more detail. Period piece, don't worry. like about costume and about dialect, about style. That's what rehearsal is for. Just bring your best work. A redirect doesn't mean that the first version was bad. Lean into whatever the redirect is. Search for acting opportunities. Where in the script is there options to do things, to make choices. A stumble on a word or a phrase does not make or break an audition. Nobody actually cares. We're a really strong group. Brittany said this. She said we're a really strong group and we should know that and rise to the occasion and potential on our last term. Lean into type a little bit and start thinking about it, right? What could you play? Analysis takes time and practice, and it will get faster and better. Like script analysis, like reading a script and being like, okay, bum, I can pull from that. A big pitfall is to have a general read. You should read with a strong point of view, a strong opinion about everything. Bring it. And then what casting is going to look for is, did you do it well? And then, are you a good fit? And that was Monday, last week of skills class. Some projects done. And then, yeah, that was that. That was that. It was good. It was a good Monday. I'm trying to think if I did anything after class. No, I came home and I went grocery shopping. Oh, I did work out some combat really quick with the person playing opposite of me in Olmedo. Caballero de Olmedo. We're just doing a little combat thing, so it's sick. But anyway, I hope you have a great time, day, life, whatever it may be. I hope the sun shines on you and you're filled with joy. Love you. Bye.